43. I'm pretty sure, Mitch. Yeah, 43.
Yes, we're episode 43.
Oh goddamn. Okay.
We're live, by the way.
G'day, guys. We're back. We're back for episode 43
Of the Infrared Podcast.
of the Infrared Podcast. Yeah,
Like
just
and
double
follow.
checking. Tonight we're having a Shiraz night. So we've got the Bustleton boys because I'm from Bustleton, and we have Young and Co. for Katie because Banks and Co. So
I'm clutching onto my youth.
So we're welcoming on KAYTYBANKS. How you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm good.
Yeah, it was good to get you on. I didn't expect you to be able to. Well, no, I had to message you, and yeah. But yeah,
I apologize in advance for Alex's awkwardness.
hey, I'm breaking the air, all right? I'm breaking the silence.
No, the best thing is I was in Uncle Billy's with Hugh Marsh, and then Alex just came up to me. He's like, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah, I was like g'day.
Oh yeah, that's right. Was that when he slipped you his business card?
Yes. Yes, it was.
So sly. Just
So smooth.
Straight across the table.
What was your initial impression when Alex did that?
Well, because I'd heard about the podcast, obviously, because there's not that many podcasts in Perth. But I'm down to do anything. Like book me to do anything. I'm like a sellout. So
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Wilco ain't seen shit. You want to talk about sellouts? But seriously, I will do anything.
So, what do you do? Music, events, the whole lot.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit
everything.
about yourself.
So I started in nightclubs as a door girl. I progressed into doing promo and being a nightclub promoter. Then I progressed from that pretty quickly to like promotions management, and then I stayed at a venue for like 6 to 7 years. No, yeah, 6 years.
Shit, that's a long time.
It's a long time. So in that time, and because I worked full time pretty much from the get go, it was doing everything. So like by the time I'd left, I'd literally worked in every department and like started departments. So I'd like started their bottle service department and like literally wrote down the whole like concept of like, this is what bottle service is and this is how we're going to run it. And this is like how we upsell and all that kind of stuff. So it was like the best, like when I like think back to it, it was like the best time like probably of like my life was like just like in the heat of it all.
Yeah.
It was stressful, but like, I mean, I didn't know what stress was back then.
It does like suck you in the music industry a bit like that, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Even I'll see my friends now from school or my friends like before. I literally have like before nightclub friends and nightclub friends. And like I literally say to them all the time like, oh, we'll hang out. And they're like, you literally said that and now it's been 8 years. I'm like, I'm just busy. Like
It gets like that, doesn't it? I mean, I'm from Bustleton, so I try and hang out with my mates, like school, childhood mates, and then you can't. Like,
same.
It's just one of those things, right?
It's impossible. And then they get offended because they're like, oh, but I see you go out. And you're like, that's not going out.
That's working.
That's working. And then that's going to a venue after I've worked with other people that work in venues when I shouldn't be going out at all because I've got to work again tomorrow and I'm going to rock up drunk or hungover or maybe not rock up at all. So it is a tough time.
Yeah,
But
it gets like that though, right?
oh, it's
it's
so
part of the
hectic.
job to an
It's
extent.
so hectic, yeah.
Well, I've just realized this week that partying is a full-time job.
It
yeah.
is.
And it really drains you, hey?
It is,
does,
but
yeah.
people expect that. Like, people don't want to rock up to a venue and see a boring DJ or a DJ that's like, I'm just thinking about my health right now.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that guy.
No.
People only care about the person that's like getting wasted, who's entertaining.
They're there for a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, this just does not sound good for my health at all.
It's true. Like, I used to make posts in my like younger days about like, I'm like trying to be healthy and like this is my new life and whatever. People don't care about that. They're like, oh, well, if she's not getting drunk, why am I? And then the venue's like, why are you promoting this healthy lifestyle?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
have
ca-
another bar card.
That's it. Just slide along the
Literally,
table.
just,
Here's another 50.
One of these. But seriously.
Do you find that sometimes it kind of has to become like a bit of an act? Like in my way, it's like when I go out and DJ, I have to go and literally like. So, for example, Scarborough Beach Bar. When I first went and played there, I looked around.
I used to play there.
It's great, right? It's like, little restaurant-y kind of bar kind of thing. But for me, I saw it and I was like, okay, this is a restaurant. At 9 o'clock, I'm forcing a rave. And it's like, how do you... And so now, every time I play there, I actually get everyone dancing and, going off their shit. But the way I do it, though, is, 6 hours, I do 27,000 steps kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay,
So it's like
so
jumping
do you
around.
play like the open to close?
There's 6 hours every Saturday.
Wow.
And so the thing is with that though, the reason why I got that is because since I bring that level of like atmosphere, energy, the whole lot, they just go, yep, well, he's making everyone dance. Why don't we just keep him on, kind of thing.
It's a bit of a different environment, don't you think, though, than
well, that's
playing at a nightclub?
Yeah, DJing too. You know,
you say that. So Endorse and I used to play there on a Sunday. I would be rocking up. There were times when I threw up in that pot plant next to the decks.
Ew! Ew!
Shocking.
I know exactly what pop plant that is.
Endorse would rock up religiously with a barocca. Like, he would be sitting down in the booth before his set, like, struggling, and I'd be like, I hear you, mate.
Yeah,
like,
it's Sunday.
I fucking hear you. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we just stopped getting booked. I don't know what happened. But it's
change of ownership.
I was just going to say it's because we rocked up every week throwing up in pot plants and with barocca. But yeah, it's definitely what you bring to it, and different people can bring different things. And that's the other thing. It's just like you kind of have to keep powering on because nobody cares if you're hungover.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, power through. Like,
that's it, because they're not hungover. They're there to just have fun.
Exactly.
And if you're not having fun, then they're not having fun.
Exactly. And if you've been entertaining at the venue the night before and then you rock up to another venue hungover, they don't care that you worked the night before. They care that you were more entertaining last night than you were today. So you've got to bring it up and put a lot of pep in your step. And whether you need to do that by faking it or like asking for another bar card, you can do what you got to do.
Do you ever do things like, you know, play the tequila song and then run up to the bar and get a shot of tequila or get tequila brought to you at all?
No, I stray away from tequila. If I'm drinking tequila, that's like a cry for help. So I don't play the tequila song.
See, for me, last Saturday, I was already tired after Death Disco's reunion night on Friday night. And then 3 shots of tequila lined up, played tequila song, ran down to the bar, and then it's like, all right, bang, 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 go straight back up and start DJing. Felt crook as shit after. But the people that saw me do that were like, fuck,
oh, yeah,
he's having a good night.
They love it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand DJs who are like, when they're doing a shot, they'll like duck behind the desk.
That's it, or just like cover up and like...
Wait, do people actually do that?
Yeah, I've seen people do that all the time.
Yeah. It's insane.
It's the same thing with eating as well. Like, I've always been taught, but it is a good thing to do though. A good practice is just like, you know, if you're eating food like chips and shit, cover your mouth because no one wants to see you just munch away.
Yeah.
But if you're doing shots or drinking, it's like it's the atmosphere. It's the whole thing.
Well, it's the same as some people don't like being on their phones when they're DJing, and I totally don't get on your phone to like send a text, but I'll get on and like do Instagram stories and like Snapchat stories and things like that. But there are other people who are like, oh, like, you shouldn't like have your phone out, and it's just like, dude, this is what like creates the vibe, because then people follow you on social media, so it works for your brand, you're promoting their brand, so it goes hand in hand. And as well, you're not going to promote a dead room.
That's
like,
it.
The people that upload Snapchats and like Insta stories of like, oh my god, it's so fucking dead. What are you doing, dude?
That's it. You're just damaging the venue.
Yourself from getting booked again.
That's
like,
it.
Don't, or like make sure that you skim over it or do something else. Don't film the dead room. Film either like a crowd or like film the decks. Anything. There's like so many things that you can do. Like, it just blows my mind on people who like turn on their own venue, or they'll be like, oh my god, this happened tonight, and it's like a disgusting story or something that really isn't making the venue in good light, and you're like, do you know how many disgusting things I've seen? And I like just don't talk about it, or I'll like wait a couple of weeks and I'm like, oh, this happened. I'm not going to tell you what venue it happened in, but I happened to be at a venue and this is the story. It just blows my mind.
Well, it is. It's like that sometimes though. Cause
well, haven't you yourself gone online and like pointed out that like patrons and stuff will like say things to you and things like that?
That's different. That's like the things that I say are generally lighthearted and they're generally like laughing at myself. So I wouldn't like make a derogatory post really going in for the kill on someone unless they asked for it or unless they're Neil Scott. Then I don't care and it's fair game.
Shout out to Neil Scott.
Yeah. Hope you're watching, babe. Can't wait to get into it with you later on Facebook. Make sure you tell Bree that I sent ya.
Good old rapture.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, you have to do things within reason. And if you're going to call someone out, you better be prepared that you know what you're talking about. You can like win this argument, because there's nothing worse than like not being able to, and
that's it. There's
embarrassing yourself,
or
looking like an idiot because you've said something super insensitive or like something like that. It's like, you've got to be like, know the crowd, like read the room. If it's going to go down well, cool. If it's not going to go down well,
sometimes you just got to stand up for yourself and for what you think is right as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like, you know, bickering back and forwards. I feel like in the music industry,
it depends on where you go.
So
It can be clicky, right? It just depends on where you are and what's going on and who you're hanging out with and the whole
It depends
situation.
on your department as well, though, because when I was managing, it wasn't like that, and it was very different. As soon as I started DJing, I had people that I had been booking for years not want to know me because they were like, "Well, you're my competition now." And it's like, are you joking? Like,
see, I've heard the same thing with clubs as well. Like last year and the year before, where it's like you play at X place, so you cannot play here now because the rival company's having controversy or whatever. But it's
you've got to be mindful. So, like, say,
I just find it silly though.
Who should a DJ be loyal to? To the venue they play at or the booking agent that they get booked through?
I would say the booking agent to an extent.
I only get booked by venues. I don't get booked by booking agents. But I think you've got to, for one, I think you need to be upfront and honest about what you're willing to do. So I've had venues hit me up before and they're like, this is what we expect from you. And I'll be like, no worries, that I'm not willing to deliver that. This is what I'm willing to deliver though. As long as you're upfront and you can stand up for yourself and you can voice what you want, then that's fine. But also you've got to be mindful. So like, for example, like I have an emo night and I'm now working alongside with Capital Corp. If I was to put that emo night in another venue, that's kind of going against Capital Corp.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I make somebody else money when I could just make the venue that I work for money?
Yeah.
And like when I've had meetings with Dave and Jeff, who like are the funniest characters I think like you'll ever fucking meet. And I've like said things like that. They're like, oh wow, like thanks. Or like Gina, who does the bookings, when I've gone to like I went to book Mishap a couple of like it would have been like a month or like 2 months ago now, but I didn't want to book her because it was to book her for a venue that's really close to a Capital Corp venue, and I was like, I know that you've played for Capital Corp before and I don't want to go like we both work for them. I don't want to, you know, like, but I was upfront. I messaged Gina, who books all of the Capital Corp DJs, and I was like, is this going to be disrespectful to you guys if I book Mishap, because she really fits the vibe of what I'm trying to go for? And she was like, no, that's fine, thank you for asking, thank you for thinking about us.
That's where it can come down to though, right? Just asking prior and just being like, is it okay? Is it going to piss anyone off? I won't do it if it's going to piss anyone off.
Don't tiptoe around things. Like say what you want. Like this is what I hate about DJs as well when they're trying to get booked. Don't message me and be like, oh my god, hi, how are you going? Just say I want to get. Just say be upfront and be like, I want to play at this event.
Ace. Never mind.
Oh yeah, but that was like I was 18.
Yeah, no, but it's still funny.
I didn't know what I was doing.
I'm never gonna forget that. This kid.
Ace is probably the last person because he'll annihilate you. Like he can be terrifying.
Ace is very like non-filtery as well. Says it like it is.
But then, like Ace said though, it's like if you rock up to the venue, you show your support and you're keen. Yeah.
Nothing pisses me off more than when people, and especially like I think Your Shot is a great concept. I really, really do, because it's really like taking away, like it's filling the void of people who want to be DJs but they're not sure how to go about it, and it's like literally teaching you how to
get involved. So
I think that's a great concept. What I didn't like from what came out of it was I would have a lot of DJs message me, or people who had competed in the competition, and then be like, I want to play at Thirsty. I'm like, okay, no worries. Have you been to Thirsty before? No, but I really want to play because you've got strippers and cupcakes. Okay, so why am I paying your bills when you're not paying mine, and you're not willing to support like my venue, my event, the amount of money that goes into it? In the same way of like, I will not book DJs who don't promote the event, because it's like, why am I booking you? Like I could book someone who's going to put it on Facebook and put it on Instagram and wants to be there, not somebody who thinks that they're too cool for the brand, or like thinks that, oh no, but I don't like my Instagram.
But I feel like that's what we're missing when we're teaching DJs. We're teaching DJs that the job of the DJ is to entertain and play music, but it's so much deeper than that.
But the way that I see it, and I know so many DJs will literally like, as soon as I see them after this, will like punch me in the dick for saying this. But the way that I see it is like, I'm very business minded. I'm very business savvy. But also I started off in a completely different like department. I didn't start DJing because I had a passion for music and I loved it and I've wanted to be a DJ and I eventually want to be Skrillex. That's not at all why I started DJing. I started off in nightclubs and in hospitality coming from a management side and knowing what you expect from that DJ. So but also I'm just naturally very good at marketing, and marketing is my jam of promotion.
Just quickly, because since we've gone back to that, I was going to ask, like, what actually got you into the scene as well? Like, did you just
into nightclubs or
just
into
nightclubs,
DJing?
music, the whole lot in a way? Like, did you want to start off being a bartender and work your way up, or like
Your girl?
So I was a beautician, and I just needed to make money. So I don't know, like, if you guys know what a beautician makes, but
Not really,
I was on like 30 grand a year, struggling, like waxing things that I can't unsee, like scrubbing the floors with orange scented cleaner that I will never use orange scented anything ever again. I don't even drink orange juice because it
Vietnam War
scarred me.
flashbacks.
Yeah, it's like literally PTSD. And I just needed money.
Yep.
And it's actually funny now that I work for Capital Corp, because the amount of times I slid into Darren Tucker's DMs and I was like, please just give me a job. Like, please give me a
Good
job.
old
I really
D-Tuck,
want to work
yeah.
at Metro's Fremantle. I'm from south of the river. Like, everybody wants to work at the big house. And like, they just did not want me. So then I would hit up other venues because I just needed to pay my rent. And then when I like went in there, my boss was like, wow, she's really funny and she's really like quick and she's really good on social media. Like, let's get her over. And like, eventually, I think I'd worked there for like 3 weeks before they were like, we want to offer you a job, like doing this full time. Come over, or like not necessarily full time, but working during the days and working the nights, and like they created a position for me. But also I was a pretty lousy beautician, so like I remember being there, and I used to run their social media, and they were like, wow, you're really good at this, like this is what you should do. And I'm like, yeah, like I want to, like maybe one day. And they're like, no, like this is what you should do. And I'm like, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then they're like, no.
That's what I think is missing with like what people are like missing out when they're learning to DJ is the business side of things, the marketing, how to market yourself, how to advertise for yourself, how to mingle, how to make friends and get gigs.
I've said this a couple of times. It's like what a good friend of mine's always said. It's like, you got to be a graphic designer, you got to be a video editor, you got to be a promoter, you have to be a marketer.
You do, and there's loads of memes about it, about how like 10 years ago you were just a DJ and you were just a song selector and it was for the passion of the music. Like, times have changed, and if you don't move with the times, then it's not my fault that you're outdated. It's not my fault that my marketing's better than yours and I'm getting more bookings than you are. I don't care if you're technically better than me. The venue doesn't care either.
I got to say one thing though.
Alex?
So just to like have a rebuttal in a way. So I lost my Facebook page, right, about 3 years ago. I had 500 likes. I haven't even made a single Facebook page since then. Yet
So you've got a Facebook?
It's just my profile. That's just my profile. So unless you add me, you can't see it, right? But then I've still managed to work my way up through the ladder to be a full-time DJ to an extent. But I really found it was just about the networking, the communication. It's just getting your name out there. But then the online side of it, I really feel like if I would have pushed the online side of it, I could have gone further. But I was so lazy. But it's one of those things where I've managed to get where I wanted to be. But at the same time, it's like kicking myself because I should have done the extra work in a way. You get what I mean? It's all about
extra work, and that's as well. That's what separates you from the person who's not getting booked. Like, I'll have people that will rock up to my sets. Like a perfect example, this happened on the weekend. Somebody came up to me and they're like, "You mixed out of the song at the wrong point. I wouldn't have mixed out there." And I was like, "No worries. Who's getting paid right now?"
Someone came up to you and said that.
I'd like a DJ, yeah.
What the fuck?
Like, and I don't mean like, I mean, you get random comments like that all the time, but I mean like a DJ that I work with in like other venues, and it's just like, bruh, you're at my set right now. I'm not at yours.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, you can't just go around criticizing everyone to an extent.
You can, but
in a
you've got to. If you're going to
care
criticize
about
someone, you got to be
now?
prepared for the repercussions.
Yeah.
Well,
And,
I literally said, I was just, and they were like, all right, this venue, they love it. I was just like, well, we're not at that venue anymore, mate. Like, we're at my fucking venue, and I'll mix that when I fucking want to. Like, but it's like, I'm all for DJs giving critiques and everything like that. It's the way that you deliver it.
Yeah.
Like, 2 DJs that I love for it are Gengar and Mike Duet. They are amazing with their critiques, and like, just really, really, like, they're coming from a good, like, it comes from a good place, and they want you to succeed. There are other DJs, and I'm not going to like drag anyone yet. Brandon.
Shout out to Wilco.
Brandon's actually really good. He covers me when I need to pee at Magnet House sometimes, because he just always happens to be there at the same time. And brings me clothes when I'm like, oh, my clothes are too tight.
Always a legend to a DJ.
Yeah. But there are DJs who are just flat out rude. And it's just like, or I've had like abusive messages before from DJs when we're going up for the same residency, and they're like, oh, you better not fucking redline, like, when you play there, like, I'm going to be playing there every week. And it's like,
someone said that to you?
Yeah,
it's like,
you'd be shocked if you knew who it was. It's like,
damn,
it's shocking.
Tell me after.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll tell you
goss.
after. I've had 2 at the moment. I have one DJ who's really going hard in after. So I do rosters as well, for like quite a few venues for DJs. And I have one DJ who will not stop A, rocking up to the venue, B, messaging the manager, and like C, like talking to the manager on the night and being like, I can do a better job than KAYTYBANKS can. Let me take the rosters. I'll take her job. We'll get rid of all the DJs and I'll take over. And
that sounds like you need to give that guy the flick.
No, but he doesn't work there. He just wants the job.
Oh, so he doesn't even have the job?
No.
I thought you were saying he's one of the DJs and he's
he's
going
just
above
a
his
DJ
roster.
Who wants to play there.
Yeah.
And it's like, in what world? We've literally just had a fucking global pandemic.
Yeah.
And you're coming for, like, how I pay my rent? Are you serious? Like, it blows my mind at what people think is socially acceptable. Yeah. And then I've also, so for the same group of DJs, have, like, come up to me and been like, oh, hey, here's a USB. Can you like throw in my USB and play my stuff?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I've had that so many times.
That's a big fuck off moment.
Fuck off, dude.
I've had that so many times.
Like,
it's like, you look at him like, you
if
kidding
people
me?
wanted to hear your fucking music, you'd be booked right now.
That's it.
Like, it's like literally like, I mean...
It's hilarious how many times it actually does happen.
It just blows my mind at what people think is fucking socially acceptable. Like, if I'm at a venue and I know the DJ, I'll go over and I'll say hello. I won't be like... Hey, dude, do you reckon there's a chance, like, I can, like, mix or something?
Me and my friend were actually talking about this last night about, like, going up and talking to the DJ and stuff. It's like coming from a DJ's perspective, like, you know when the right time is to talk to the DJ and stuff like that. And it's just too many times people come up and they're like, you're in the middle of a mix, you're fucking concentrating, and someone's like, what does this do? And they turn it or something like that, and you're just...
I've probably had my USB ripped out, like, I reckon 5 times.
You've had your USB ripped out of the CDJs. Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah,
do they immediately corrupt when they get ripped out?
No, it goes on like loop, emergency loop.
But did you just go, security, get him banned? Because that's what I'd do.
Yeah.
I'd literally be like, nah, you're fucking out of here, mate.
Yeah, but it's like, it's also like, you want to, like, obviously... Like, I'm not about to like roll someone, but you've got still have a room watching you.
Yeah,
it's like I'm not about to like deck this guy in the face.
Exactly. That's what sucks, because you're up on the podium, you're up on the stage.
People are watching you. Yeah. So if you're there and if you're like, you know, seen going in on this kid who thinks he's funny, just wanted to make a good TikTok, like, you're the dickhead. Like, you've got to do it. There's a way to do it. Obviously, I'm not encouraging people to rip out USBs, but there's a way to handle the criticism. Like, for example, on the weekend, I had this kid that kept coming up to me. He's like, can I put my USB in? Like, is there any chance? And I was just like, no. And I just like kept saying to him, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then he like, was just like, like, do you reckon like there's just any chance? And I was just like, dude, do you think that like, if you were any good, would I not be at your set today?
Just tell him to go back home and listen to it on his own speakers.
Well, then my heart broke. Because he was like, do you play techno? I really want to be a techno DJ. And I was like,
hang on, where were you DJing at the time?
Cunt. This was at the old synagogue in Fremantle.
Right.
Yeah, what?
And
I mean, I'm gotta admit, quickly, I'm pretty jealous you got that gig. That's an amazing gig. That's a very good gig.
Thank you.
But holy shit, for someone to come up and be like, can I play techno in a pub?
But I was like, bless your little soul. And then I literally was just like, oh, I don't want you to think that all DJs are really mean, because you just don't know. So I was just like, okay, look, no, I don't play techno. I'm very commercial, vanilla. I'm aware of that. But this is who you need to message. These are the events that you need to go to.
Yeah.
If you want to get into that crowd.
And that's way more than what you should have done.
Yeah, that's really good though, because you referred them on to like.
So I still think about it today. Like, I mean, it only happened like 2 days ago. But I always get, because I just have the worst anxiety. Like, ask Mike DeWitt, I'm always complaining about it. But it like stays with me, and I'm like, I don't like want to feel this guilt anymore for being like rude to this 18-year-old kid who, because like as DJs we're just so used to the idiots that are like, can I play, can I have a spin? And you're like, no, absolutely not. But then you're like, there are like the pure ones that just want to be a DJ, and just you shouldn't like cut them down for no reason because they just aren't aware yet of how to go about this situation.
Well, it's a whole process as well. Like the whole, like, the biggest thing that I've always been taught is just like you look out into the crowd and you go, okay, so there's a couple sitting down over there.
Yeah.
What can I play to get them tapping away, then standing up, then dancing, and then kissing? What can I do to be able to get them, like, get the energy out of them and get them on the dance floor?
I want to see someone get fingered. That's what I'm aiming for. But no, not really.
Just
but
cash.
Like, the way that I see it is like there are like for different venues, like say for example the old synagogue Fremantle, like I'll get people that'll be like, you know, can you play rhythm? And I'm like, well, there's actually people eating dinner upstairs, mate.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, no way. Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Or they're like, can you play Mackie G? No, because they're still serving dumplings. So they don't go hand in hand.
To be honest, I would really like to hear Mackie G while I'm being served dumplings, to be fair.
This guy.
A lot of people would.
Just quickly, I have to ask as well. So, WAP, that song, WAP, right? How many times have you been requested? I've never.
Say it as it is.
I've got
wet
that.
ass
So
pussy.
many
Yeah, but I've got it on.
times.
So how's this? I play all around Perth, right? And I've got it on the back catalogue. I've got it, right? But I've never been requested for it yet. Never been requested it.
Are you serious?
I've never played it and never been requested. But usually the music I will play will be a mixture of 60s to 80s mixed with, like, you know, Lizzo and the new shit kind of thing. So playing Lizzo out and about, I've been expected. It's like, you know, and Shooting Stars and the whole lot. Someone's going to come up and ask that.
I've never ever been requested Shooting Stars, but I love it.
Really?
Whenever I play at the Lookout or the old.
Oh, do you mean by Bag Raiders though?
Yeah.
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 Is that not what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what it's the wine. It's the wine. But like, what's the worst request you've ever had? Hey, don't take that away from me.
Irish dancing music.
Irish dancing music.
While I was on live television, so I was.
Whilst you're on TV.
Yeah, so I was DJing for. I'm really, really lucky, and like again, it's just about networking. That when Anna Polyvu comes to Perth, I generally am her DJ.
Mitch, can you look up Anna Polyvu?
Polyvu. So she is a celebrity chef, and now she's actually DJing herself, which is super, super cool. You guys would know her. She's pink mohawk. She's like, she has that classic dessert on MasterChef.
I don't watch TV, but maybe I know.
Go to
Just scroll to the right hand side. You might be able to see.
Go to images. Yeah.
I have never seen that woman before.
Oh, she's quite big in like the chef world, and like she's like so lovely. And the last time that she was here for, I think it was the WA Good Food Guide, and I was DJing for her while she was doing a cooking demonstration, and then she was like, "Oh, I've got a DJ here. Let's put it to the test. Who's got requests?"
That's pretty cool, though. Like,
oh, it was cool, but it's like that's not how. But it's like that's not how this works. Yeah. And then she was like, and as well, this was like my mistake because I had only like bought a certain amount of USBs, and I should have brought everything, which is like such a lesson to every DJ ever. And they were like, because she was like, "Oh, I can ask you, I can do requests, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and she's like, I was like, but I have to have it. Like, this isn't Spotify.
Yeah,
like,
it's a USB. It's not like an unlimited catalog of music.
Yeah,
a lot of people make that mistake with DJs.
Yeah, and they're like, or like, can you put it like plug my phone in? Like, but there was actually a couple of weeks ago where I was like, somebody like put their phone up and they're like, can you play Rovi Rush's like version of Latch? And I was like,
Latch, I was about to say Missy Elliott because that was such a good mix.
I was like, oh my god, my heart, like, and this guy was just like the purest, like most gentle guy. He'd been like at the venue the entire night by himself, just like vibing out.
Must have been a regular.
Yeah. Yep. Well, it wasn't even at like I wasn't even DJing at like a venue that Rovi has probably ever been to.
Oh, okay.
And it was just a fan.
So this wasn't at Magna House or Capital?
No, it wasn't a Capital Court venue. But I literally messaged Rovi right away and I was just like, okay, this is the guy. This is like what he wants. And he like sent it to me and I was just like, fuck. And I like literally put on like social media. I was like, who's got an aux cord? Because for this guy who's been such a delight, I will consider it. But
you didn't have it in the end.
It is what it is.
But yeah.